Hey guys, welcome back to our weekly live event. It's Pascal, and this week we're going to go over your personal finances and what is the next move you need to make in 2021 in real estate. As you guys know, I have an insurance agency, a mortgage company, and an accounting firm, a property management company, and a construction business. So A to Z in finances and in real estate. So I'm here to answer your questions at a live event and as well as giving you some tips on what's next for 2021 on today's live event. How's everybody doing? It's good to see everybody again. Hope everyone had a great day. And for those that saw my live video this afternoon, I was checking out two properties today. I was checking out this 61,000 square foot office building retail mix. They're asking about $2.5 million. Definitely had a lot of deferred maintenance on that property. And I was looking at another property, 4.5 acres. They're asking me about $2.7 million. Is 17 lots, and they're waterfront. And I'm looking at that property as well. So I'll be explaining those deals a little bit later today, but as well answering your questions and talking about what's the next move for each investor, each level investor to do in real estate, right? So thanks guys for all the thumbs up, for all the love. I appreciate everyone who likes my videos and leaves comments. It's definitely a great way to show your love and appreciation for everything I'm doing for you guys. Dill says, when you depreciate your properties, do you separate your building depreciation from the content depreciation? So Dill, I'm going to answer your questions, and just so everybody knows how we're going to handle the process is one, whoever asks to go live, I'll answer those questions first. Second, anyone who puts a question on YouTube or in the question section of IG, I answer those second. And then third, I answer the questions in the DM section. So all the section that you see scrolling up, I'll answer that one last. So if you want to have a question, put it in the question section, that little question mark, little ball with a question mark in the middle. That's where you want to put your question. All right. So to start off, I'm going to give it probably another minute, and then I'm going to start explaining to you what's the next move you guys need to make in the real estate and what I'm doing myself for the next move for the real estate. And you guys already know what I think is going to come. I want to kind of give you an idea of what I'm still doing in the moves I'm making to get prepared for the coming downturn. So give everyone a couple more minutes to join, and we will start the topic. So Savage says, I hope you're having a great day. Hope that everything went well while looking at the properties. Everything went well overall. Just got to do my due diligence and make sure it's a good deal, right? That's really important to make sure you're doing good due diligence, because depending on what is due diligence, right? Like, it sounds like a really fancy term, but really what you're doing is you're checking to see what you're planning to do with a property is feasible. Is it possible? And not only is it possible, but can you also get it done in the timeline that you're planning? And that's a big part of what we're going to talk about today, is making sure that you're having a great plan to accomplish it in the right timeline, so you're not stuck when the market falls. So I'm doing great. George, what's up? How you doing, George? I'm doing great. Thank you. And what's up, Augustine? What are your thoughts on Salt Lake City, Utah? Salt Lake City, Utah is pretty good. You understand that in all the markets, what I like is secondary and tertiary markets, and like downtown core within a secondary and tertiary market. What's up, Chicago? Thank you, Nicole. I appreciate it. Nicole says, you're an inspiration. I appreciate that. So now let's dive on in. Let's get to the topic at hand, right? Which is, what should I do in 2021 to prepare for the coming downturn? I believe that we're going to have a coming downturn, and we have to prepare for that. I'm still buying properties, but when you buy properties, being that I'm a larger investor and I can't just sit around with a bunch of money in my bank and wait for a year or two for the market to drop. I have to keep things moving. So with the coming downturn, what I'm doing is focusing on one, flips. I'm looking to buy a property and flip it and move in and out of the property and make sure that I'm not holding on to it too long. So really, I really want to try to make sure that, I'm moving in and out in roughly 6 months. Now, some people would say that's a long time to have a flip. I do heavy remodels. I don't do the little lipstick, paint and little stuff like that. No, I do big remodels with, new roof, new electrical, new plumbing, new everything. It's like a brand new house by the time I'm done. So I want to be in and out within 6 months because I think the market's going to drop the end of 2022. That's when I think all of the money that the economy, the government put into the economy is going to dry up. So I really want to be in and out of the deals quickly. 2, I don't want to be exposed to too many deals at one time, just so I can make sure that it's rotated properly. I want to be in and out of a deal. So if you're doing 5 deals and you're not actually moving in and out quickly, that's going to be a problem. You want to make sure that you're running lean, you're running healthy. So by running a healthy business, if things do fall, you can still hold 2 properties and be fine. But if you're doing 5, 10 flips at a time, and that's literally as much capacity as your company can handle, that might be a problem if you can't let go of that inventory, if you can't move it. The big issue, if you guys don't know this, is that getting work done is very hard. 1, getting materials is very hard. 2, finding people to do the work is hard. So you don't want to be holding on a whole bunch of properties and then not being able to finish and sell them. So you want to make sure that you're running lean. Only buy as many properties as you can move and flip out quickly. So the next thing I would say is for your holds, your buy and holds. So if you're going to do the BRRRR strategy, and you guys know I do the BRRRR strategy for apartment complexes. When you're buying a property, you're going to buy it, renovate it, rent it, refinance. If you're in the middle of any BRRRRs currently, you want to make sure that you're going to be finished with your renovations sometime, probably by 3rd quarter of this year. So you can go for your refi by the 4th quarter of this year. Interest rates are keep on climbing. You want to make sure that you're locked in and you're stabilizing the asset because you want a 30-year mortgage with a low interest rate and you want to be very stable. If the issue isn't so much, are you going to find tenants to rent your property? Rental real estate has one of the lowest vacancy ratios, even in a bad economy. But what happens is when the lending market dries, when people don't give loans, that is the issue people come into play. When the real estate market dried, when the lending market dried in 2008, I was stuck with a 10% and a 15% hard money loan. And I had to carry that for years. It sucked up all the profits. And basically I was holding properties with no profits because all of the money I was bringing in from rent was going to pay the loan. Now, that's still better than defaulting because other people had defaulted and I chose not to, which was a smart decision because your credit is very important if you want to continue to grow in real estate. So, 1, if you're going to flip into properties, flip in and out quickly. Don't hold too many flips at one time. Just stay lean. 2, if you have any current property that you're trying to BRRRR, finish them out and get stable, long-term, low interest rate. 3, if you're going into any new deals, any new BRRRRs, make sure that you're going to be in and out and done with your process within 6 months because you don't want to be stuck in holding on to a BRRRR too long before you're stabilizing it, or if you decide at the end of the day to sell it, to sell off. Because you want to make sure that you're running lean because if anything does happen, you want to be able to handle it. You don't want to be stuck holding a property that you never wanted to. Back in 2008, there was a ton of people that were into flipping. And those people ended up not being able to sell the properties, so they ended up becoming long-term investors, which they never planned on being a long-term real estate investor. You don't want to become a landlord on a property you never were planning to be a landlord. The numbers almost never work. So make sure whatever your plan is, that you're in and out, and you're stabilizing your asset within your period of time. So that is my strategy for the rest of 2021. I'm finishing my flips. I'm making sure I'm finishing my 2 BRRRR properties, my apartment complexes. And once I finish them, I will then, or at least I'm actually working on 3 different, 1 big house and 2 complexes. So once I finish one of them, then I'll pick up another one. Now I got to make sure I finish one of them before I can pick up another one, so I can stay lean and stay on top of it. Because if you think about it, if I'm doing 2 apartment complexes and a house, I need to stabilize one of them, get the low interest rate so I can start making a profit. Because if something does fall and I'm stuck with 2, at least I'm bringing profit from that one to help offset the other 2. I still have a good balance. So now I'm going to start opening up to the Q&A section where you guys can ask me questions. Augustine has a question on YouTube. It says, "Hi, Pascal, do you like to work with wholesalers?" I like working with anyone that gives me a good deal. So if a wholesaler can provide me a good deal, I would love to buy the property. I don't discriminate if I buy it from a wholesaler, if I buy it from a for sale by owner, if I buy it from foreclosure, if I buy it on the MLS. I bought many properties on the MLS. But with MLS, since there's so many people that are available to buy it, you have to be fast. So at the end of the day, what really matters is buying a good deal, buying a quality property in a good area. That's actually what matters the most. A great location with a pretty good building, and I'll upgrade the building. All right. King Juju wants to ask me a question, so let's see what he has to say. Yes, I do buy properties off the MLS, right? It's all about the deal. It doesn't matter where it's from. Hey, what's up?
What's up, my man? You were still talking about something else and it connected. So I just wanted to ask you, I started following you recently and you guys are talking about BRRRR properties. I'm looking like crazy in the ATL market and I can't find anything. My first home that I bought a home that had mold issue. Nobody wanted to buy it, and I got a crazy deal on it. And I fixed it myself, and in 2 years it grew double in value. Plus, it brings me Airbnb income.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I can't think about anything that I can do right now because right now I'm thinking a lot of work's moving remotely, so maybe get homes in the mountain areas or next to the beach, or go to new homes, or I have no idea what to do because I'm looking like crazy every single day and I can't find anything. And anything that I do find, it's going way over asking. Do you have any suggestions on what I should do?
Yeah, so what I found is been working for me for the last 15 years, and I think is going to get even better for the next 15 years, is downtown core properties in secondary and tertiary markets. So let's just say, for example, where I'm from, downtown Tampa is a primary market. Downtown St. Pete is a primary market. I invest in areas like downtown Safety Harbor, downtown Dunedin, downtown Gulfport, Palm Harbor. They're still really good cities. I'm investing in the downtown market, so very close to where Main Street is, like on 2nd or 3rd Street, somewhere very close to there. And that way people can work from home. And now since they're not visiting people, remember, if they're working from home and they're in the mountains, they don't get to see people, and people like seeing people. So what you want to do is you want to be close to the downtown market where you can actually walk from the house to the brewery, have a drink, have dinner, walk your dog, walk back home. Because again, since you're not talking to people at home anymore, at work, you're not talking to people, you're going to get really bored. So you want to be able to go socialize and then come back home. And that is going to be very valuable to people that are making $150,000 a year, working from home. They can afford good rent. So all of my units also have Cat 6 wire in every single room. We rewire all of that stuff. So now these guys or these girls that are working for these companies from home and making good money will be willing to pay, like my 1-bedrooms go for $1,500, where if you go 3 miles away, 1-bedrooms go for $700. But I'm in a downtown core. I got Cat 6 wire. I got good remodeling. I got WAPs throughout the property because I'll buy like a fourplex. I'll put WAPs in every single unit, and then they'll be able to go outside and still have internet connection.
There isn't anything like that in Atlanta. That's the issue.
Well, let me tell you this. When people told me that in my market, the thing is, you're not going to buy the property faster than me, right? Like literally within minutes of it up, I already called them and said, I'm going to buy it. So if you're not quick, you're not getting it. So the next thing you have to do is you're going to have to either be patient or you're going to have to send letters to people that aren't listing right now.
I was thinking about that.
In the other way I'm making money.
Really succeed.
Go ahead.
So I'm like, I had a lot of friends succeed like massively doing that. One of my friends bought 9 acres of commercial land for $2 million, and now it's worth $140 million. So, and that was from just using that strategy where he just went and met with the person and talked to them and got a deal without the guy knowing what this actual market value was.
And sometimes,
so it does work.
And the thing is, it's like, the thing is like, so you'll send out 1,000 and maybe get one deal. But the point is, it doesn't matter you sent out 1,000. If you saved 30 grand and you got a deal, that's what matters. Part 2, most of the money now is all in value add. So you'll buy a property, like again, the property I bought 2 years ago. I bought it and it was basically a negative cap rate. It wasn't making any money. And then I had to spend a lot of money to upgrade it. But between the money I bought it for, plus what I spent on investing in the property, the end cash flow was generating above a 10 cap. So you can't think of what is it today, it's what you can make it, above a 10 cap.
What does that mean? Sorry.
Cap is capitalization rate, which means if you paid all cash for the property, what percentage are you making? So that means if you paid cash for a property and you paid, say, $1 million for it, that means you're making 10% a year on that money after all expenses if you had no mortgage. And a 10 cap in a great market is like sick. Like it's a ridiculous deal, Okay. Now you can get 10 caps in rural markets. You can get a 10 cap in in the hood, but getting a 10 cap in a good area is super hard. Normally, when you're seeing stuff for sale, everything normally is selling roughly right now in the apartment world for around a 5 cap. That means if you paid $1 million cash, you would make $50,000 a year if you had no mortgage and after all expenses. So it's about a 5% return, 5 cap.
What about new builds? Do you ever invest into new builds?
So right now we're moving towards new builds because what's currently available is so expensive. We're looking at doing a 60-unit townhouse project, another 15-unit townhouse project, because the cost of construction is about $175 a square foot for a quality property, and everything that's selling in a quality area is like $250 to $300 a square foot.
Yeah.
I mean, this is my area, right? Everywhere in the country is different. You talk about LA, it sells for $1,000 a square foot, in a good area. So you got to compare to your market. But the point is, a lot of people are going to building because what's currently available is so expensive.
That's what that was my next move, was thinking about either going into building, or I found new homes that are like about 2,000 square feet and they're selling in the 200K range. So
I would be careful because make sure the quality is good, because if it's 2,000 square feet for 200K range, you have to really question what's the quality that you're getting.
Yeah, you're right. That's what I'm going to be going to look at tomorrow. So.
Yeah. Now again, if it's your GC and you get him to build it from the ground up and you're doing cost plus, that's different. Then you know you're going to get a quality deal. But if it's just some guy building a whole row of houses, the cabinets are going to be like particle board, the flooring is going to be cheap, everything's going to be cheap. Like, you want to make sure that you're not just getting literally a stick home that's like not worth anything. So this is, I'm gonna wrap up what I said to what I initially started with today with this conversation, which is, if you're gonna do new build, make sure you're in and out and refinance by the end of the year. You don't want to stretch it out too far where you're stuck in the middle of your project. So the 60 townhouses we're building, we're gonna build roughly 15 at a time. This way we can build them and finish them and have them rentable before we build the next group. This way we're never stuck, halfway through, that we can't, if we have to, just do the rest of it in cash.
And what if you build your own, you have your own building crew, right? You don't buy new builds from other people.
So I have my own construction crew, which does mostly remodels. And then I have a GC that will do the ground up and manage the project for me.
Okay.
So.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Be blessed.
No, you continue what you were saying, but I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Oh, basically what I was saying is this: make sure you're done by the end of the year. You don't want to be stuck in the middle.
Do you think it's going to keep going up, or are we looking at it?
We're going to keep going. We're still going to go up, and we're probably going to go up next year as well, right? We're probably not going to start coming down to the end of next year, beginning of 2023.
Okay.
But we're not going up because of the economy is healthy, just think, it's like if someone has cancer, right? And our economy basically has cancer, and people don't realize that. If someone has cancer and they're like, wow, I felt sick because our economy felt sick in 2018, and they pumped it with a whole bunch of stimulus, and then it's basically like a booster shot, and they're like, oh, I feel great. Feeling great doesn't mean it is great. Feeling good doesn't mean you're healthy. Then in 2020, the market was going down. Prior to COVID, our overnight banking did not have enough money. They were losing $500 million a day, and they didn't know where it was going. It was going to the black hole that no one could explain where it was going. Then COVID hit, and they pumped out trillions of dollars. This money cash itself is meaningless. You have to, without a healthy economy, all this cash doesn't mean anything. So all it is like a booster shot where you're like, wow, I feel amazing. If you're sick and you take a 5-hour energy, you're going to feel good. You're going to feel like you have a lot of energy. But once that wears out, that doesn't change the fact that you're sick. And eventually, no matter how many booster shots you get, you're going to have to lay down in bed. You're going to have to rest. And you're going to have to just work out your cold. You're going to have to work out that sickness. And that is going to probably, the money is going to wear out probably at the end of 2020 or beginning of 2023. So, and you're going to start seeing
2023. That's when the foreclosures might start coming up.
Because it takes 2 years. And all of 2020, they froze foreclosures.
So, even when they were saying that, I remember reading an article saying that Biden's going to be doing a lot of things to help first-time buyers, giving them grants, and so I just read an article. But do you think that they're gonna do something to make sure that it doesn't crash, or just keep pumping money, or do you think this administration it's helpless against what's gonna happen?
So I'm not like a negative person, right? I'm not like, I hope it crashes. If it crashes, I'm going to make money because I'm just going to buy up great deals. If it goes up, I'm going to make money. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to make money either way. But I'm just trying to be logical, right? So let's think about it. If first-time home buyers, their issue is they cannot find affordable housing. they cannot find properties under 300K. Like, it's very hard to go to a decent area and find a property under 300K. So that's a whole bunch of new construction. They're having issues with density, right? Any good area is almost filled up. So they're having density issues. Go to LA, like there's density issues. They won't allow, things to be a certain way. That's why now they're doing AUDs and JAUDs to try to help offset that issue. But if you have housing issues, right? You can't provide housing. There's not affordable housing. It doesn't matter if I say, hey, look, I'm gonna give you 100% loan to value, and there's not enough. That's a problem, right? And if the foreclosures start coming, when the foreclosures start coming, the issues you're going to see is there's a bunch of people that are not working, and you can't use unemployment money as a source of income for your down payment. So you're still having that problem, right? I'm going to add someone else to our live event so we can have like more of a group conversation. So the point is, you have to have enough qualified buyers, and the amount of debt is crazy high. So for us, we're talking about qualified buyers and that have crazy high debt. So they're not qualified. So the amount of qualified buyers is very few. Now, say we do offset the housing issue, it's still gonna have, the backlog is so much that it's still gonna be a problem. I mean, if you think otherwise, please feel free to give me your opinion and
Ben, I don't know what to think. I'm terrified from all of the $2 trillion handout that I want to jump into a house, because I know it's a commodity and I feel like my buying power has been greatly reduced with the $2 trillion that went out. So that's what I'm afraid of. I'm just afraid of my buying power. Like homes that were $80,000 last year are selling for $200K this year, and like it looks like it's gonna keep going up. So I have no clue where to put my money that's in a safe area. And I don't like stocks. I only like real estate. I like something that I can see and I can touch. So I've always liked real estate. So that's what I'm thinking. Either like I go into like those new builds, and it might be like a slow increase, but a safe place to put my money, or I'm trying to find those BRRRR properties, but I can't find any. So I might choose a strategy where I cold call and I try to reach out to people before they put it on market, possibly get a good deal.
Yeah, it's really tough.
That's the only option.
No, you're right. It's tough to find a good deal. So, you're going to have to try to find off-market deals, and that's probably going to help a lot. In addition to that, like I said, all right, I'm going to block that guy. All right. So, yeah, so going to new construction is good as well. But what I'm trying to tell you is make sure you stabilize the asset with good long-term debt, and you have a good tenant in a good market. Do not sacrifice a quality market and a quality tenant just to have something. Because if you have a bad area and you have a bad tenant, it doesn't matter what's going on in the economy. It's going to crush all your profits. And any money that you think you're going to make in appreciation is going to get eaten up by your loss. Because again, one bad tenant will break your AC unit. That's $10,000. Will destroy your floors. It's another $10,000. So don't sacrifice location. Don't sacrifice the tenant.
Have you done Airbnb or you just do rentals?
Say that again.
Have you done Airbnb?
No, I do Airbnb as well. Yeah, I have Airbnb as well.
So this is that's what I was saying, because that it has the $1 million insurance. Somebody breaks something and I buy it brand new, I can get it covered. So that was sort of my strategy.
First, just so you know, Airbnb are assholes. Let's start there, okay? Because they'll tell you how amazing they are. They're not amazing, right? Because the second they want to change their rules, they'll change the rules whenever they want, and they'll find a way that you don't win. So don't let them make you think that they're awesome. They're not. So don't think that they're awesome. So just tell you, don't think Anytime you think you have a bulletproof plan, you have there's something wrong there, and you're gonna get hit sideways, and you're gonna be knocked on your ass, and you're not gonna see it coming. So do not assume you have an amazing thing, right? Work, make your money, but be prepared.
That's true.
So next thing, I'm gonna tell you this, because I got into an issue that you have. The issue you have right now is you found an awesome deal, you were able to do amazing value add, and then on top of that, you gain a ton of equity, and then you were able to do Airbnb and make a ton of money on your rent. So you made a ton of appreciation and a ton on rent. That scenario, that fast, doesn't happen often. And what happened to me is I bought a fourplex in a sick part of town for $182,000 about 7 years ago. Sick part of town, on the trail. I had downtown core zoning, so I was basically commercial land. I was then able to buy a fourplex in a couple of streets over, but didn't have the same zoning, for $200,000. And I was like, why am I going to buy it for $200,000? That's too much money. That property is worth $500,000 now.
I know. I thought that's about to come up.
Then another fourplex down a couple of streets over from that one, so even further from downtown, I could have bought for $300,000. That property is worth $500,000 now. Even though I can't do Airbnb on those two properties, it's not allowed in that city, and the fourplex I own, I'm allowed to do Airbnb. Still, those properties were a ton of money. So I'm like, man, I can't do this, I can't do that. I can't make, so again, the property that I bought for 180 is worth probably almost $1 million now. So you can't, just because you have a sick deal, you can't compare everything to your sick deal. Then you're not going to do any deals. So, you know.
And that's what's killing me. Because this house right here, I was talking, but it got it 280. I put 20 to 30 grand into fixing things into it, and the house behind me with the lesser land and a smaller house sold for $500K. In 2020, not in 2021. So it has 1 bedroom less than mine.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm like, okay, this one's probably around like 550, 600. That's in 2 years. It went up in value. And then I'm trying to find something that's any close to this, and there's nothing. Like,
have you done a cash refi on this deal yet? So two things I wanna.
I'm doing a refinance right now, but I'm not sure if I should do the cash off refi or if I should. I'm debating it. My best friend, he's very wealthy in Canada. He told me to just keep doing refinances and putting your money into homes. But I feel like right now it's maybe not the best thing to do.
No, that's wrong.
I don't know what's going to happen in 2 years.
No, that's wrong. Listen to him. Listen to him, because I'm trying to tell you the same thing. I'm telling you the same thing. This is what's going to happen. Your profit is not real. You think your house is worth 600 grand. It doesn't matter, because unless that cash is in your bank account, it's a paper profit. And real estate is about being able to take the money out of the property, putting it into your bank account so you can use it to buy more assets. And if you don't do that, you basically have a stock that pays a high dividend. So you need to refinance, you need to take the cash, because let me tell you this, in 2 years, let's say 3 years from now, the market tanks. The equity you think you have in your property is gone. And then you're like, oh man, I wish I did a refinance a few years ago, pulled the cash out, and so I could buy all these cheap deals now. But you won't have the money because you didn't take the money out when you didn't need it. You take money from the bank when you do not need it. You keep it with you, so when everybody else doesn't have any money, you use that money and your money is valuable. Money is only valuable when no one else has it. And there is times that happens. Right now, money isn't valuable. Right now, everyone has money. Everyone's buying properties. That's why it requires more money to buy a property. But when there's less money out there, there's less supply of money out there, Now your money is worth more, so you need to use less dollars to buy a property.
So what's your feeling? Is if I have 10 days to make this decision, like legitimately, I'm in the process of a refinance right now.
Take as much money out, probably go at least a 70% loan to value,
Okay.
and sit on it. Get a 30-year loan, get a low interest rate. So right now we're doing 2.99% rates for real estate investors on a 30-year mortgage.
2.9 on a 30-year mortgage. That's with no buy, with no. You'd have to.
It might be like half a point. But again, each deal is different. So everybody, if you want a quote, you got to ask me for a quote. I'm not saying blanket everyone can get this deal. No, I'm saying I've done deals like this. So you need to get a quote from me directly for me to give you an actual quote. So do not assume that I can give everybody this deal. Disclosure, okay. You can't get this deal. But have I done this deal before? Yes, I've gotten my people 2.99 rates on an investment property, 30-year fixed rate loan.
Okay, I'm gonna message you after this. So see if what's the best rate I can get for mine.
I don't do Georgia yet, so I can't help you. I don't do Georgia yet. I'm working on it, but I don't do Georgia yet. So
I'm 4 or 5 hours above you.
I know. I'm telling you, I have an accounting firm, so we're so busy with commercial tax, business tax returns, individual tax returns. We do loans in Florida, in California, in New Jersey. So we're super busy with those loans. I've just not had even the time to get things done like that, right? So I really want to. And to answer someone's question, someone says, should you do a cash out refinance on a primary residence? Yes, because you don't have any equity until that money is in your bank account. Why do I say that? Yes, today you do have equity, but when the market tanks, that equity disappears. When the market tanks, that home equity line of credit that you think is available for you to use will disappear. The bank's going to make it go away. So you won't have the money to spend. How do I know this? Because I've seen the 2000 crash. I've lived through the 2008 crash. That's what happens. So it's not rocket science. This happens every time. So what am I doing? I'm doing a refinance on my 16-unit property. I'm pulling out the cash. I'm finish up my remodel on my 7-unit property, and then I'm going to do a refinance, and I'm going to pull out the cash. So I'm going to be sitting on a lot of cash, and I don't like to sit on cash, but I'd rather sit on cash and then have it available when I need to use the money. And it might be a year, maybe it's 2 years that I'm going to have to wait before I actually use it. But I'll have money when other people don't. So I'll be getting great deals that other people can't.
You're not afraid of the inflation?
Well, I am afraid of the inflation, but then again,
that's what's screwing up with me right now, because I don't know what the U.S. dollar is going to mean in 2 years from now. That's the only one fear I have.
Again, we've had inflation since 1980, since we went off the gold standard.
Okay.
How many crashes have we had since 1980 in the last 40 years?
I only know of one.
We had 2008, we had 2000, we have the SNL, we had a ton of them. We've had 5 major ones and a number of minor ones.
Okay.
So deals, there's a ton. I'm telling you, there's a ton of deals and foreclosures that are going to come in 2 years. It's going to be a lot.
Okay.
So it's not like you're not going to have.
Until you find a good deal, and just chill. Be patient. If I find a good deal, I'll take it. If not, I just chill, and I have all that money. In 2 years from now, I just go hard on this thing.
And this is what I want to add, because I was trying to explain this earlier, is that for those like myself that need to do a certain amount of deals because they can't sit on a crazy amount of money, right? For those people that have a lot of money and they need to do more deals because they just can't sit on a crazy amount of money, if you can find deals, just make sure you finish the deal quickly and you're not in a ton of different ones. You're buying, you're renovating, you're renting, and then you refinance quickly. If you're flipping, get rid of them. If you can only buy like 1 more property or 2 more properties, then it might be worth it for you to wait. If you could buy 2 more properties, you could probably still buy 1 more right now, buy, renovate, refinance, and hold it. But if you could only buy 1 more property, then it might be good for you to wait for that 1 year or 2 year for the market to tank and build up your cash amount.
I'm sitting on 100K. It's not that much. I have 100K. That's going to only get 10%.
So you're sitting on 100K.
That's something about a month now.
So if you're sitting on 100K, pull cash out of your property that it sounds like you have like 200 grand in equity. So pull cash out and use that money.
An investment program? Okay.
100K is not, when there's deals, when there's properties available to buy and there's deals available, there's never enough money. When the deals become available, there's never enough money. So I'm part of a real estate investment group. I'm part of a real estate investment group, and in this group, you know, they get to interview really influential real estate investors. So they interviewed Donald Trump before he was president, and they asked him, you know, Donald, what did you learn during the good times? And he said, I didn't learn anything during the good times, which makes sense because during the good times, things are easy. So you're not learning a lot of lessons. They said, what did you learn during the bad times? He said, it never hurts to have extra cash around. Because when the bad times come, it's about how much cash you have. And the more cash you have, the more deals you can do, the better advantage you're in.
He's becoming a loan officer right now.
Well, if you become a loan officer, DM me because you can work for my company and I'll set you up as the guy in Georgia.
I'm an app here, so I can you really need an app guy. But yeah, no.
You're a what?
But
you're a what?
I'm a mobile app engineer.
Okay, well, actually, I am working on building an app. So, well, actually, DM me because I am working on building up a financial services app. So I'm in the process of working with another guy that works for Apple, and he has his doctorate degree in artificial intelligence. And we're looking to put a team together to build out this app. And yeah, so DM me, and we can actually do something. We could do something special together.
Cool. That's awesome.
Awesome. Well, you have a great night. God bless. It was really great talking to you.
You too. It was really great talking to you. Take care.
Take care. Got a ton of questions coming in, so let me try to get some of these questions answered because we're about to wrap up. Said, when you renovating a property, how do you try to minimize the cost of renovations? So I don't try to technically minimize the cost of renovations. Be very careful with that because when you're doing a renovation, you don't want to try to skimp, especially if you're going to burr the property and you're going to keep it. You want to get quality products. Now, what I do try to do is I try to buy volume, and I try to buy all my supplies one time from Home Depot. So I don't go and buy $1,000 worth of items. I go and I see what are we going to need for the next 2 to 3 weeks, 4 weeks for this project. And I try to buy all of the materials one shot because when I buy a lot of volume, they're going to give me a bigger discount. That's where I try to save money. I try to keep on using the same crews. So this way they give me a discount for the volume that I'm giving them. That is where I try to save money. But you don't want to skip on quality because if you do, I promise you in 5 years, you're going to redo that project you just did. You put in bad flooring, you put in cheap flooring. In 5 years, you're going to have to redo all your floors. So you don't want to skimp out, okay? Especially with faucets, anything, your high traction items, your faucets, you want to get quality faucets. Don't buy the $40 faucet. You have to buy at least the $100 faucet. Otherwise, you're going to pay someone else to fix it. To change a faucet almost costs $100. So your cost is not in the material, it's in the labor. So you want to make sure you buy the best quality materials. All right, so I got a bunch of questions on YouTube. Rob says, I got a bid on a duplex in New Jersey this week. Offer was verbally accepted. Then they took a higher offer. Laugh out loud. If it's not in writing, Rob, it doesn't count. What do you think about partnering with a friend on a deal? It's all about your contract. Like I said, it's what is in writing that counts. So if you partner with a friend, you better have everything in every tiny detail written out, because you're going to have an argument later and someone's going to be mad at someone, and you might lose a friendship, or you're going to have to lose some money, right? So you better be super detailed. Augustine says, what are the areas you're looking for properties? Wherever I come across a good deal, I can send it to you. I'm looking for anything in Pinellas, Pasco, and Hillsborough. Those are my markets, Pinellas, Pasco, and Hillsborough. Now, preferably, I'm in downtown cores. That's what I prefer. I prefer multi-units, but I also buy commercial and residential. So anything that makes sense has good numbers. But again, good locations are key for me. So Ronald says, in the state of New Jersey, can you get a HELOC on your primary residence and write off the interest? And does that work with FHA loans? So the answer is yes, you can, if the interest is, if the loan is used for the proper reasons. Does that work with FHA loans? Yeah, it can work with an FHA loan, but if you have an FHA loan, the first thing I would do is try to refinance the property into a conventional loan. This way you can get rid of your PMI first. You're going to lower your interest rate and you're going to remove your PMI. So consult with your lender about how to do that. Again, I am a mortgage broker. I'll be happy to look into your refi for you. After you do a refi and you remove your PMI, then you should look into getting a HELOC, because why are you going to pay PMI and then also get a HELOC? Let's save some money along the way. Ronald also says, can you write off the maintenance and expenses, including the value add items on your primary residence? No, you cannot. Ronald says, is it a good idea to refinance out of a PMI, then cash out a HELOC and put it into EQRP account for your future investing? That's actually a pretty good idea. But Ronald, one, I also set people up with EQRP accounts that can help you with that. Two, you can't just take the money out of your house and then put it into an EQRP account, because remember, an EQRP account is a retirement account. You can't take active income and just put it into a retirement account unless you are making it as a contribution. So you're not doing any contributions through work, and then you're going to use some of your money to do it as a contribution that way. So can you do it? Yes. But you must make sure you're doing each step accurately. Otherwise, it will be disallowed. So be careful how you're doing it. Next question I have is it a good idea to refinance out of PMI? Yeah, I answered that one. If you can get me a quote, that would be great. I am planning on refinancing soon. Yes, DM me and then I'll be able to work on a quote for you. Augustine says, can you contact him through, you can contact him through Instagram. That is correct. Contact me through Instagram, or on YouTube, you should have some different ways to contact me or email me. But again, if you go onto my Instagram account, you can just straight DM me there and I'll be able to reply. And send me your email. And the last question I got here is, do I need to get an appraisal for my property during the refinancing process? I did a lot of value add renovations after I purchased last year. So when you submit your refinance, you're going to actually put the value you believe your home is. If Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the government agencies, agree with you on the value, they won't require an appraisal. If you say your home's worth $600 and they also agree with you that they think it's worth $600, they will not require an appraisal. But if you say it's worth $600 and they don't agree with you on that, then they will require an appraisal. And then the appraiser, which is a separate company, is going to determine what the value of your home is. And then based off of that value, they're going to be able to give you a loan. And what's up, Oscar? And Ronald, you're welcome. All right, let's get some more questions here on IG, and 'cause it's getting pretty late. So Hunter says, where the properties you looked at today, a good deal in your eyes? Or okay, so were the properties I looked at today a good deal in my eyes? The commercial property in Holiday is a depressed market. It's lower income and it's depressed. So dollar per square foot, super low. But the building had a ton of deferred maintenance, and the clientele base isn't as strong as my other markets. It's actually on one of the lowest ends of the market. So I would probably have to get a better price than what they're currently offering. And then on top of that, I would have to probably spend a minimum of $1 million, if not like $1.5 million in a renovation, which I'm fine with doing that. But I need to buy the property at a low enough price to justify the cost I'm putting into it and the time I'm spending. Now, the good news is if I do spend $1.5 million and I buy it for $1.5 million, I'll be in it for $3 million, and the dollar per square foot will still be a good deal. Part two, this property is in a qualified opportunity zone. And because it's in a qualified opportunity zone, if I buy it for, let's just say $1.5 million, and I spend $1.5 million, within 30 months of me purchasing the property, I would then have it as a qualified property within a qualified opportunity zone. And then 100% of the profit is tax-free. That's right. So that's intriguing, but I have to make sure a lot of things are being checked off to make it happen. Oh, and the property on the water, the lots on the water, it's 4.5 acres for 17 lots. That's for 2.7 million. The cost per lot is too much at that point. I mean, I would be interested at like $1.5 million, $1.7 million. You know, that would make me like very interested in the property. So remember, guys, if you have any questions, put it in the questions section because I answer those questions first. So what's up, brother? Let's see what he has here. Just wanted to take this time to say thank you for teaching and knowledge. You're welcome, brother. This guy's been following me for a really long time. D. Lo Maximo has been following me for a long time. Always leaves comments, always likes. I really appreciate the love, guys. You know, that's basically the thank you that you guys give me for the work that I put in. Because trust me, guys, it's a lot of work to keep up with social media. And you don't really make much money. I do have a course, and the course is like $300 or $400. I barely make any money off that either. We really just cover the cost for hosting the site and everything else. And that's another way you can show your appreciation. And actually, if you want to take your learning to the next level, because you learn a lot in the course. And if you do take the course, when you do a refinance with me, I give you the cost of the course back. The goal is everyone learns, grows, and becomes a big real estate investor. So, but thank you. All right, let's see. Refi or line of credit? Refi, then line of credit. Do both. All right, let's move it out. Why do you think the economy is going to drop during 2022? So during the end of 2022, we're going to start seeing the drop. Why we're going to start seeing the drop is because, one, there's a lot of people that are not employed. And once the unemployment runs out and there's not jobs for these people, the economy is going to go down because there's not going to be any money to spend. That's why I said, if you have money, it's being spent. That doesn't matter. You also need to have people with jobs that are getting the money, because we need to have a healthy way of making money. Money is printed out of thin air. But as we're printing more money, if we're not creating value, right? It's called GDP. When you consider the value a whole country produces, it's called GDP, the gross domestic product. So the whole country is producing stuff and doing services and adding value to the country and to the world. We have to add value equivalent to how much money we're producing. If we don't, and we're not adding value, but we keep printing money, what happens is the value of that money becomes worthless. The value of money really is strong when GDP grows with the production of the money. If it doesn't, our value becomes worthless, because what's going to happen is all these dollars are going to be all around the world. And when all these dollars are around the world and China has a bunch of dollars and they're like, what do I do with these dollars? Because America's gross domestic product isn't increasing. That means there's not enough stuff for them to buy with all these dollars. And what's happening is Chinese companies have so much dollars, they're buying up all our real estate. Because think about it. If you have American dollars, where are you going to spend these dollars? In America. And if you have a bunch of Chinese companies with all of this cash, that's American dollars, they have to end up eventually, someone has to end up using it in America, right? Let's just make believe the Chinese companies spend all the money and spend the money and buy a bunch of oil from the Middle East. Now the Middle East has a bunch of dollars. What are they going to do with the money? Eventually, whoever ends up with these dollars has to buy stuff in America. And if they have a ton of dollars, all that's going to happen is they're going to drive up all the asset prices in America. They're going to keep on buying real estate. So it has to go somewhere. It's either going to cause massive inflation, or eventually we're going to have a problem between the amount of what our dollar is worth compared to our gross domestic product. So why do I think things are going to drop? Because back to the point is that people don't have jobs, they don't have quality jobs, and the money is going to eventually stop. Last question for tonight is, do you think the real estate market's going to crash? The answer is 100% it's going to crash. But the question everyone's wondering is, when is it going to crash? And that only God knows. But I think we're going to start seeing stuff happen 2022, and bigger effects are going to happen in 2023. I don't foresee a way possible for them to give out another $1 trillion in stimulus. And if they did, all they're doing is kicking the problem down the road, because the only way to fix this problem is, again, creating quality jobs. Well, guys, it was awesome seeing everybody again. I hope everyone has a blessed week. If you need any help with your corporate taxes, individual taxes, refinance, or insurance, DM me. I'm happy to help. The link in my IG bio has my course, Foundations of Personal Finance. It's going to show you how I got to 23 units by the age of 23. So if you don't have 23 units yet, watch the course, and you're going to learn a lot of things that you didn't know. Again, thank you guys, and God bless.